Hi, it's Leaf again. So soon, yeah, what happened? Well, there must be something wrong with my eyes. I analyzed the shape of tattoos, I tried to establish the exact geographical position of the settlement, but I completely failed to see something that's right in front of my stupid face. The hunger bar. Yeah, by the way, thanks for pointing that out in the comments. So yeah, those few snippets of gameplay clearly show what seems to be a hunger bar, a hunger meter. Does that mean that we're gonna have some survival elements in the game? In my last video I also expressed my concern about the size and importance of the story, and it was based solely on the trailer and the information I got from the Steam page. But I found an article on thegamer.com that provides a lot more info about the game itself, and it partially confirms and partially dispels my fears. But it also kinda explains the hunger meter to some extent, I guess. Okay, no, it doesn't, but it does mention a food mechanic of some sort. Not everything is made perfectly clear, but the article is based on what the game devs actually said, so I'm gonna go over the most important things I learned from it. Okay, first, the change in style and the more mature direction was inspired by two things, apparently. The fact that most players are over the age of 25, well, I know I am, way over the age of 25, and the fact that fan art usually doesn't remain faithful to the original style, so fans usually choose more realistic proportions and features. And it's true, and I do that as well, even when I'm trying to channel Castlevania for some reason. Also, and this is not in the article, but the amount of adult-oriented fan art and fanfiction is actually staggering. So the game's main target audience is by no means children, as it turns out. What a surprise. We also learned that some of the old characters from Sandrock and Portia will make an appearance. And in fact, some of them will join the settlement. Of course, we know that Avery is going to be there, but he doesn't count because we know. We can probably expect Logan to at least visit. He did visit in Project Me. We also know that he has a fully fledged Monster Hunter guild now, and Pana is a monster hunter, so yeah. Who else? I have no idea, but I am eager to see them redesigned. I'm very curious. Although, if I see Fang, which is somewhat possible because he actually joins Logan's Monster Hunter guilds in the comic book, so if I see him, I am going to drop dead on the spot. Because with realistic proportions, he would be perfect, while no longer available, so I'd rather not see him. Probably. Okay, so the article also assures us that the main formula of the series is not going to change in this game, that we're still getting all the RPG elements and all the cozy sim elements, but with a city builder and some more management added on top of that. That remains to be seen, but I am a little less worried now. The devs also claim that the game is going to be more adventurous than Sandrock. Whatever that means. Perhaps more exploration. I mean, it would make some sense, given that we're going to be expected to expand the initial settlement. And that means acquiring more land, more territory, so it probably means fighting some monsters and cleaning up some debris to get more space, maybe. Plus, we are not far from Ethia and Duvos. Maybe we'll get to see the famous Orzu ruins. We know sky sharks are going to be involved in some way. Also, we're going to unlock NPCs and missions as we expand our territory. So, yeah, more adventurous is a believable description. Apparently, there's also going to be a floating island. So, it seems that what I interpreted as a flying fortress might actually be that floating island. A floating island that might be a flying fortress at the same time, maybe? I just remembered something. One of the first things that Project Me brought to my mind for some reason was Hayao Miyazaki's Castle in the Sky. And it might not be that far off. Okay, now I'm excited. But now that I think about it, a lot of the technology in Sandrock and the general circumstances kind of remind me a lot of Castle in the Sky. The blue energy crystals, the general coziness of the world, but with remnants of a highly advanced fallen civilization, flying pirates. Okay, wow, Leaf, you just discovered that fire is warm. Bravo, it took me a while. It's obvious. But in my defense, I only watched Castle in the Sky once and a long time ago, probably about, I don't know, 20 years? because I think it was around the time when Howl's Moving Castle came out, so around 20 years. It's been a while. Wow, what a discovery. Okay, back on track. Now we're coming up to some info about the length of the story, so something I was actually worried about. And indeed, the plan is to make Evershine shorter than Sandrock, more similar in size to Portia. And the reason for it is that apparently only 20% of the players actually finish Sandrock, so it's considered too long. I mean, it wasn't too long for me, but it was long, that's true. But if it's indeed similar in length to Portia, then I guess that's enough. Additionally, this time, villains are going to be clearly defined from the very start, so no more speculations. Okay, moving on. Romances. Apparently, they're supposed to be bigger and better than ever, whatever that means. The article states that there's gonna be 8 to 10 romanceable characters, so supposedly, apart from the 6 confirmed ones and the 2 that we're gonna be voting for, there's a chance for 2 more, I guess. But if those 2 additional possible romances are gonna be basically Venti and Toadie, then I'm okay with 8. And those romanceable characters are normally recruitable, like everybody else. I wonder if that means that if we don't expand enough or in the right direction, we can actually miss some of them. But then again, their personal stories are also supposed to be intertwined with the main story, more along the lines of how Logan's story was constructed. So I don't know, probably the game won't actively rob us of any important story elements. On the other hand, recruitable NPCs need to be properly taken care of. They can be trained, they can level up, they can become our followers even, but they need to be well rested and well fed, because otherwise they might leave. This might mean that even the unique settlers can leave. I don't know. And also this is where the hunger meter comes in. I'm not sure if it's actually hours of it, or if it's the general hunger meter of the settlement, or maybe the hunger meter of the party. I'm curious to see what they actually do with it, because it's not exactly clear. But perhaps, because I already see some similarities, perhaps the hunger meter is actually the player's personal hunger meter, and the NPCs are managed like pals in Pal World. No, hear me out. I'm not saying that's exactly what it's gonna be like, but I can definitely see it working like that. Because in Pal World, pals can work in our base, just like the NPCs can work in our settlement. They can be trained, they can be leveled up, and they also need to have a place to sleep and some food to eat. I mean, they won't leave, but they can become unhappy. And we can also take them with us like a little party. It could work to some extent in a game like Evershine. And it already feels like it was at least a bit inspired by Pal World, because we even got the gliders. Okay, jokes aside, it could actually work, and it's not difficult to manage. It's not a difficult system, just saying. But we'll have to wait and see, because I honestly have no idea how they plan on managing it. Okay, back to romance. Apparently we'll be able to flirt with love interests quite early, and we're not gonna have to wait so long to even express our interest like in Sandrock, which I think is actually better and feels more natural. Let the thing simmer a bit beforehand. Okay, so, to sum things up. The main game is planned for about 40 hours, 40 plus hours of gameplay. We can expect DLCs and mod support. It is not yet certain whether the game will be available in early access on Steam. Kickstarter backers can expect access to early builds though, and likely not all backers. This will probably depend on the pledge level. And that's basically all for now. So yeah, it seems that eating is going to be a thing in the new game, but probably more tied to the actual settlement management rather than used as purely survival mechanic, although it's hard to tell. To be honest, I am not a fan of town building and management games, or any bigger scale management games. I just don't like management. I always prefer simple simulations where I'm responsible only for my own character. But if they don't cut back on the story, and if Evershine remains faithful to the atmosphere and general feel of the My Time series, I can live with that. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in my next video. Take care.